Something big is happening with Google search in the UK. The rules of the game are about to change in a major way because, well, the undisputed champion of search is getting a new referee. So today, we're going to untangle this new digital rulebook and figure out what it means for all of us, for you, for small businesses, and for Google itself.
So why all the fuss? I mean, why now? Well, take a look at this. This chart, it pretty much tells the whole story. Here in the UK, when you talk about searching the web, you're almost always talking about Google. They handle something like 90% of every single search. And whenever one company gets that powerful, regulators start to ask a pretty important question. Is the game still fair?
And that's exactly what's happening. To make sure the field stays competitive, the UK's competition watchdog is officially stepping in, and they're bringing a brand new rulebook designed specifically for Google. All right, so let's get into the details of how this all kicked off. On October 10th, 2025, the UK's competition regulator, the CMA, made a huge move. They officially slapped a special new label on Google, starting a whole new era of oversight for its search engine. This new label is called Strategic Market Status, or SMS for short. Now, it's really important to get this straight. This isn't a fine or a penalty. It's not about Google breaking a law. It's a new regulatory tool. It's the government basically saying, hey, you're so big and important now, we need to create some special, forward-looking rules just for you to make sure everything stays fair for everyone else. Okay, so with any new law, there's always a bit of jargon, right? But don't worry. Let's quickly break down the 3 key terms you need to know to really get what's going on here. It's actually pretty simple. First up, the CMA. That's the Competition and Markets Authority. In our little analogy, this is the referee. Simple. They're the independent group whose job it is to make sure the game is being played fairly. Next, you've got the DMCC Act. Think of this as the official rulebook. It's the brand new law that gives our referee, the CMA, the actual power to blow the whistle and enforce those rules. And finally, SMS, Strategic Market Status. This is that special label we were just talking about. It's the official tag that gets put on a massive player like Google, and it's the thing that triggers this whole new rulebook into action for them. Okay, so this is the crucial part. What can the referee actually do now? With this SMS designation in hand, the CMA has 2 main tools in its new kit. These tools fall into 2 buckets. On one side, you have conduct requirements. These are kind of like the day-to-day do's and don'ts of the game. But then you have pro-competition interventions. These are the heavy hitters, the bigger, more powerful changes the CMA can force if the basic rules just aren't cutting it. So what do these day-to-day conduct requirements actually look like? Well, for starters, the CMA could mandate fair ranking. That means Google can't give an unfair advantage to its own products, like Google Flights or Google Shopping, in the search results. It could also enforce open choices, so you're not just railroaded into using Google by default. And a big one, it could demand way more transparency for advertisers and for us regular users. And if Google breaks these new rules, well, this is where it gets really serious. The referee has a very big stick. The CMA can fine Google up to 10% of its global annual turnover. For a company the size of Alphabet, we're talking about a fine that would be measured in the tens of billions of dollars. So yeah, this rulebook has some serious teeth. Okay, that's the law, but let's bring it back down to earth. What does this all actually mean for us? How is this going to change the Google search results that you and I see every single day? For users in the UK, the changes could be pretty noticeable. For instance, the next time you set up a new phone, you might actually get a choice screen asking you to actively pick a search engine instead of just defaulting to Google. You might also see rival services pop up more, and you could see much clearer labels on what's an ad and what's an AI-generated answer. Now, for the people who actually make the websites we all visit, this could be huge. Publishers and creators could see more predictable traffic if Google has to be more transparent about its ranking updates. And they might get clearer controls over how their content is used in all these new AI search features. And what about Google? Let's be honest, this is a massive undertaking for them. They're going to have to build entirely new compliance systems just for the UK. They've even suggested it could slow down the rollout of new AI tools over here. And of course, that 10% fine is always looming in the background. So where do we go from here? This isn't like flipping a switch overnight. Let's take a look at the timeline and the bigger picture of this new regulatory world. You got to remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
The investigation started at the beginning of the year, and Google's special status just got confirmed. The really crucial next step is for the CMA to actually draft the specific rules, talk it over with the industry, and then start phasing them in. So don't expect your search results to look totally different tomorrow morning.
It's also really interesting to see that the UK is forging its own path here. The European Union has a law that applies one big set of rules to all the tech gatekeepers. The UK, on the other hand, is doing something different. Its rules are bespoke. They're custom tailored for each company and for each specific activity, starting with Google Search.
And you can bet Google Search is just the beginning. The CMA has already said it's looking into other hugely powerful digital gateways. In fact, investigations are already underway into Google's Android mobile platform and Apple's entire iOS ecosystem. It looks like the referee is just getting warmed up. Which brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? The UK has written this new rulebook and put a powerful referee on the field to enforce it. But in a game that has been so completely dominated by one player for so long, will it actually be enough to truly change the outcome? Well, I guess we're all about to find out.